Hey Run Junkies, and hey again Laura. Many of us are motivated by the idea of finishing races. Maybe you love collecting the bling, maybe you love the cheer of the crowd as you cross the finish line, or maybe you just use races as motivation to keep yourself fit throughout the year. Whatever the reason, sometimes the longer we run, the longer our bucket list gets. But there are also those races that we have no desire to do. So today I'm going to tell you about what's on my bucket list and what will never make it there.
It's Vlogtober with joyful miles and running with grace. It's Vlogtober.
As far as my bucket list goes, I run a lot of different races for many different reasons. Sometimes I am indeed motivated by the bling, but that's kind of few and far between. I might also be motivated by the theme of a race, but more often than not, it's about how hard I have to work, how far I have to push myself to finish that event. The first on my bucket list, and is probably the most easily attainable, is the Slacker Half Marathon. This event begins at the Loveland Ski Area at about 10,000 feet, and then it drops all the way downhill. It's a complete downhill course to about 8,000 feet at Georgetown. But really, that's not why I want to do it. I want the shirt that says Slacker on it. I want that. I haven't gotten around to this one yet, mostly because it just doesn't line up with my summer travel schedule. I'm usually out of town or about to be out of town when this race hits, so hopefully I'll get around to that one this coming summer. Near the top of the list, probably in my top 5 overall, is the Beat the Blurch in Seattle. This event was started by the cartoonist of the Oatmeal, and if you don't know what I'm talking about, if you don't know what the Blurch is, I'm leaving a link to one of my favorite comics in the description box below. I would also really like to do the Marine Corps Marathon at some point, and I really do want to do a team event like a Ragnar relay or maybe even the Hood to Coast relay. Now I do have a few things on my Run Disney bucket list as well, like the Kessel Run Challenge. Yeah, I know. Between the time I'm recording this video and the time it goes up, or sometime shortly thereafter, we will probably have news about the Disneyland events in California. But until then, the Kessel Run Challenge goes like this. You run the Star Wars Half Marathon in January at Disneyland, and then you go to Florida in April and run the Star Wars Half Marathon there. You then receive a special challenge medal called the Kessel Run, and it's shaped like the Millennium Falcon. I mean, seriously, it is so dang cool. It's still on my bucket list, and since rebellions are built on hope, I am not going to give up hope that this event is going to go away completely and for all time. I am not here to stir the pot. I am not here to start a conversation about what I think is happening with Star Wars. I'm just saying it's on my bucket list. Okay. Other Run Disney bucket list items include the Disneyland Paris Half Marathon, and I think I would like to do Wine and Dine. I think not just for the Wine and Dine Run Disney event itself, but I would also like to head down to the Food and Wine Festival. That just looks like a lot of fun. And since I do still consider myself a triathlete, even though it's been a couple of years since I've done one, I do have a couple of triathlons on my bucket list as well. One of those is the Lake Geneva Escape Triathlon. This actually just happened during my wedding weekend, which I found kind of coincidental or ironic, or however you want to call it, because I was actually there on the weekend of this event that I've always wanted to do. It's been around for years, but I've never been able to make it that far except for when I get married. You know, the theory was that actually I could compete in the triathlon and then go get married. I could have. I would also love to volunteer for, or at least attend, the Ironman World Championships in Kona, Hawaii. Being that close to greatness would be amazing. Watching these athletes just conquer one of the hardest courses on the planet, I think would just be phenomenal. Now, that may seem like a short bucket list, but that's part of the problem with me creating a bucket list, is that it's constantly changing. But I do have some bucket list time goals as well. One of these days, I really want to do a standalone sub 1 hour 10K. I think I'm very close to getting there, but I have a lot of work yet to do. The other thing I want to do is someday a sub 2 hour half marathon. But creating a bucket list is hard for me because My seasons tend to be really long. I spend a lot of time working toward one goal, and I don't do a lot of smaller goals in between. This is the first time that I've felt comfortable, the first year that I've felt comfortable doing that. So I'm reluctant to make a huge 10-year plan or even like a 3-year plan. My plans really only go out about 1 year. There are, however, a few things that I really don't have any desire to do. So here is my anti-bucket list. First up, the Boston Marathon. I have so much time to drop before I even think about qualifying for Boston. The Boston Marathon is next level stuff, and I have mad respect for people that qualify ever once. To qualify for the Boston Marathon is one thing, but because running has become so popular, the field has gotten so much more competitive, you actually have to be faster than the qualifying time, and they take the fastest qualifiers first. For example, the 40 to 45 female age group, my age group, you have to have a qualifying time of 3 hours and 45 minutes just to get in. However, this year, in order to get into the 2018 Boston Marathon, you needed a qualifying time of closer to 3:40 to actually get a slot in Boston. My fastest marathon was 4:40. Yeah, I've got a little bit of work to do if I ever want to do that one. Another thing that's not on my bucket list is another Ironman. When I was training for this guy back here, a lot of people kept saying to me, my support crew, my friends, they kept saying, well, next time when you do this, you will know this better and you will have learned this and you'll understand how it works. And that kind of talk actually stressed me out because it was so much work that first time around. I couldn't imagine going through that, putting myself through that again. And I still can't because there's just so much going on, so many things that I have to attend to, that training at that high a level for 6 months is just too much time and too much energy. It's not that I don't think I could finish an Ironman. I absolutely think I could. I just don't want to dedicate the time and the energy resources at the expense of, you know, my family. For me, I'm a one and done Ironman. I'll never say never on that, but it's like Boston. It's next level stuff, and it's just so intense of a training period. But that is it for my bucket list and the anti-bucket list. Our question for you today is this: what's at the top of your bucket list, and what is the absolute last thing you ever want to do as a runner or an athlete? Please leave your thoughts, questions, and comments in the box below. If you haven't subscribed already, please do so and give me a thumbs up if you like this video. Vlogtober continues tomorrow with Laura's training update, so head over here, subscribe to them as well. Lastly, please head over to my blog at gofindyourawesome.com. You'll find a link in the description where I detail a few more of the reasons behind why what's on my bucket list is on there and why what isn't on my bucket list is not on there. That makes sense to somebody. That is it for me today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Get out there, go find your awesome. Until next time, get that bucket list done, and happy running.